Very good morning to everyone. Today we are going to explore some very important psychological theories which we are called learning theories. So, let me ask you one question. Why do we study these theories? Learning theories help us to understand how humans and animals acquire knowledge, behavior, and skills. By studying them, we can design better teaching methods, workplace training, behavioral interventions, and even marketing strategies. In short, understanding learning makes life more effective and predictable. Okay, so let's understand the first theory, which is given by the Pavlov, and name of theory is classical conditioning. So let's understand the meaning of classical conditioning. So basically, it is a learning process in which neutral stimulus becomes associated with the unconditional stimulus to produce a conditional response. So these are the elements of classical conditioning. First element we have unconditional stimulus, which means something that naturally trigger at response. For example, food naturally causes the salivation. Second, we have unconditional response, which means the natural unlearned response to unconditional stimulus. Okay, for example, dog salivates when it sees food. Third element we have neutral stimulus, which means initially does not trigger the response. For example, bell rings. Next element we have conditional stimulus, which means natural stimulus after association with unconditional stimulus. For example, bell after repeated pairing with food. Next, we have conditional response, which means learned response to conditional stimulus. For example, dog salivates when bell rings. For example, Pavlov rang a bell before giving food to a dog. After several repetitions, the dog salivated just at the sound of bell, even without food. And what are the importance of classical conditioning? It basically help us to understand the habit formation. Apart from that, it is used in therapy, for example, overcoming phobia. In addition to that, it is also applied in marketing, like associating product with positive emotions. Okay, so imagine like that. Imagine you love chocolates. Every time when you hear the ice cream truck music, you feel happy. That's a classical conditioning at work. The music, when was natural initially, now trigger the same feeling as eating chocolates. Next theory we have operant conditioning, which we call it instrumental conditioning. Okay, and this theory is given by Skinner. So let's understand the definition of this theory. Operant conditioning is a learning process where behavior is influenced by consequences. Reinforcement increases the behavior while punishment decreases it. And these are the key concept of operant conditioning. First, we have reinforcement. Reinforcement, that means anything that increases likelihood of behavior. For example, praise a student for completing homework, and he he loved to complete homework on time and loved to do more work. Next, we have punishment, which means anything that decreases likelihood of behavior. For example, scolding a child for lying. Next time, he don't lie. After that, we have positive. That means adding something so that person feel motivated. For example, rewarding effort and rewarding effort with the chocolate. Negative, that means removing something unpleasant, which means stop nagging when student studies. For example, a student studies hard and gets good grades, that is called positive reinforcement. So they study even more. If a child misbehaves and loses TV time, that is called negative punishment. They are less likely to misbehave next time. So let's understand the importance of operant conditioning. It helps in behavior management. Apart from that, it is widely used in education, parenting, workforce, or workplace, as well as it is used in animal training. For example, think about your own life. When you complete assignment on time, your teacher praises you, admires you. That praise increases you to continue completing assignment on time. That's a operant conditioning in action. Next, we have conditions of learning development process. Learning does not happen randomly, it depends on certain conditions. First, we have motivation. That means learner must have desire to learn. For example, student motivated by career goals and studies hard. Next, we have attention. Focus is required for learning. For example, paying attention in class improves retention. Next, we have reinforcement. Reward or feedback strengthen learning. For example, teacher praise or bonus point reinforce effort. After that, we have practice, which means repetition is essential. For example, practicing piano daily improves the skill. After that, we have readiness. That means learner maturity and capability, which means children learn language faster than adults due to readiness. Next, we have environment. Supportive environment help learning. For example, quite well light classroom add concentration. For learning to happen, all these conditions must be met. Imagine trying to study in a noisy cafe with no motivation. You probably won't learn much. But in a calm, focused environment with encouragement, learning becomes effective. So, come to the summary part of class of this class. So, first we have classical conditioning, which means the learning by association, where we already mentioned this example, bell with salivation. Second, we have operant conditioning, which means learning by consequences, whether it is reward or whether it is punishment. Third, we have conditions of learning like motivation, attention, reinforcement, practice, readiness, environment. Okay, so this question arises in the mind of students. So why these theories we need to study? So basically, answer of this question is this: to understand human behavior as well as to improve teaching and training method, and also apply in everyday life like a therapy and marketing. So that is all about for the today's class. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care. Have a good life. Keep learning. Keep growing.